Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. Welcome to the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel, and thank you for hanging with me today. If you are new to this channel, thank you for being here. I hope that you do become a subscriber and join the family. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you are on the Twin Flame Ascension journey, please listen up. If you are really struggling with your spiritual journey, I hope that this video helps you in some sort of way. Don't forget to like, save, share it with others. Definitely subscribe to the channel though, and hit the notification bell for all so that you don't miss anything. So there's a lot to talk about today, friends, and we are in the Mercury retrograde energy from the unicorn to you guys. Diamond white light, we're gonna need it, right? I had a conversation with source energy, spirit, about what is important to know. What it's important to know for the month of May. And I have to tell you that May is going to be a very transformational month. If I had to pick a word to describe the month of May, I would absolutely pick the word transformational. And it's interesting, you know, because in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the time where everything comes alive. The earth comes alive, the flowers are blooming, there's the animals. It's a time of fertility. The Celts were celebrating Beltane, May Day, dancing around the maypole, spiral dance, marriage, just happiness on all levels, you know, of just being alive with the earth flourishing, you know, all of that. And on the other side, in the Southern Hemisphere, my Australian friends, you know, it is the time of winter, of Samhain. So Beltane for the Celts would be considered summertime. This would be considered winter time, and it's all about death and ancestry, you know, speaking to the spirit world, you know, going through the shadow. And the energy, the overall energies really do feel like the Samhain energies. It really feels like the winter energies, the crone energies, the transformation energies. So I definitely have to say that. And before we get into some of the messages, I'm going to recommend the Stone of Transformation. I got a little piece here. I want to see if you can see the this is labradorite, and there are these beautiful iridescent colors, but I don't know if it shows up. Wait, we just caught it there. Beautiful stone, and it's certainly one that I would choose to work with the shadow and help to transform the shadows into light, because this is going to be huge, huge, huge for May, of going deeper into severe traumas, into dark shadows, and really being able to close down karmic cycles and be able to move forward in a more empowered, light-filled way. So if you are struggling right now, if things are really tough, if you feel like things are all just whacked out of control for this Mercury retrograde, don't worry, don't panic, okay? Unicorn energy. Unicorns are real. We'll talk about that in another video. But you will get through this. This is a time that is very profound, and it's there to help you out. So upon talking to Spirit, what I definitely received was that we're going to be going deeper into the shadow, into severe traumas. Those severe traumas are going to be connected to many different areas, many different times, as a matter of fact, timelines, lifetimes. And it's really going to challenge us with being able to transform everything that is not us. All the illusions, all the disempowerment, all the false masks and false identities. If you've been out of alignment on your path, you more than likely are experiencing it already. You could be experiencing it shortly. Of big tower moments where you are just like, wow, what happened? Things are being destroyed on me, and I'm confused now, overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to choose. And a lot of things are ending. And this is a good thing, although it brings up a lot of pain, a lot of stuff within that needs to be transformed before that outward can be transformed. It is a good thing. So please understand that and stay very present with yourself if you're going through this. But the deeper traumas are coming up. Some of the deeper traumas, of the severe traumas, would have created soul fragmentation for some of you. Now, soul fragmentation is very known by the shamans. And if we go through something that is very severe, a severe shock trauma, it can actually split the soul. And parts of us, aspects of us, are actually not within our being anymore. It's cut off. That's how much trauma. And it's for us to be able to heal those parts of our souls, so that way we can reintegrate that back into our being, because the ascension journey is becoming whole, unified. Unified within, unified with source, unified with all living things. We're coming from separation to unity. So it's going to be very important for the month of May that you are connecting with what's coming up, the emotions. You are connecting with some of the memories that are surfacing, because we're going to be having some of the trapped memories coming up. And these are really huge clues, because it's going to tell us a story. It's going to tell us a very important story about how we have not been loving ourselves, where we have not been valuing ourselves, where we have not been recognizing our self-worth, where we haven't been in our power, where we haven't been authentic. And this is already a step in the right direction to creating major positive changes. So changes. Yes, it's going to be about changes. And so May is going to be extremely powerful for this. Now, some of the severe traumas, let's talk about some of the areas in which this would come from, how we can clarify it, we can recognize it, we can understand using our intention what we're transforming, what we're transmuting. So huge themes that I received for May have to do with corruption of power. Now, I want you to understand this is on the world scale, and it's also on a personal scale. And we are connected to the earth. So we have the karmic grid, the old karmic grid of the earth, purging up all this stuff, all this toxicity. And that same stuff, those types of experiences, are also purging out of us. So this is happening simultaneously, because the earth is ascending and so are we. But I'm getting corruption of power. I'm getting abuse of power. I'm getting abuse of control. I'm getting where there has been conflict, where there's been war and conflict and violence, where there has been enemy patterning, us versus them, separation, where there has been corrupted structures. So when we think of corrupted structures and we think of authority, where it would have controlled us, right? Where we felt like, oh, I can't move, I can't really be who I want to be in the world. I have to fit within this structure. We think of things like government and religion and financial institutions where there's been corruption, where people have not been doing the right thing, where there's been a lot of greed, where there's been a lot of ego, where there's been a lot of just not being of service to humanity, and having to go through that. And the thing is we don't want to be connected to that anymore. We don't want to have any kind of psychic cord to any of those corrupted structures. And so many of us as starseed angelics on this journey, we have gone through a lot of tests, and in different lifetimes, you know, we've gone through volatile situations like being the heretic, going through a lot of severe warfare, speaking out and then being arrested for it, being tortured for it, being put to death for it. So there have been many lifetimes for all of us where we've been disempowered and we have felt unsafe. We have felt unsafe to speak our truth, to speak out, to be who we are. Yes, we have always been different. If you are watching this video, you know you're different. You know you are by no means described as conventional in any way and have never wanted to be conventional. You know, being a different type of soul it's a difficult thing because we've felt rejected and abandoned, and this is a part of a lot of the wounding that we're experiencing, and this is coming up also for May, the layers of it. It's hard to be different, but yet it's also a privilege to be different, and this is not in an elitist way by any means, but it is a privilege to know that we are here to be of change, to bring positive change, to bring our wisdom, our knowledge, to bring this beautiful light, who we are, bring our true authentic souls and bring it to this planet which is suffering, that really does need our help. And it's beautiful to be a powerful leader in that way, a leader from the heart, a humble leader, a peaceful warrior. But it's not easy to align with that and align with our true souls, our true identities, our true path when we're having all of these types of things come to the surface, because the traumas that we've been through, the severe traumas, have definitely disempowered so many of us and have created all of these different limiting and fear-based stories and beliefs and programs, right? And it's also been a part of creating these false masks that we thought kept us safe as we navigate through life, these false personas and identities. It's also impacted us where perhaps we've put value on the wrong things. We didn't value ourselves. We put our worth and values on other people. Okay, I'm only valuable if I'm with this person. I'm only worthy if I'm with this person, or I'm only worthy or valuable if I'm popular, if I have a lot of money, if I'm number one and I'm on top, if I show everybody that you know, I have it all together. And we place our values on the wrong things, and we start allowing the ego to run the show. And all of that is because there's underlying insecurities and fears and not feeling safe and feeling as though you are still going through being controlled. You're still going through all of these traumas, and you are. If you're going through that, still struggling with that, you are still going through that. Our bodies do remember. Our cells do remember. So definitely remember power structures. Remember abuse of power, war, enemy patterning, us versus them, all separation. Anywhere you would have experienced conflict. And this type of fear, this type of panic, this type of not feeling safe will create so much of the disempowerment of the karmic, it's karmic cycle. It's karmic cycle, and we're looking to close those karmic cycles down. These are coming from our soul history, but it's also very important to understand that a lot of these things come from the ancestors too, and their struggles, their severe trauma. So we're talking about difficult history, right? How our ancestors' history has also filtered through us. How that has been passed down, and a lot of the things that have been passed down have not been good things. Yet a lot of the things that have been passed down from ancestors have been wonderful things. We want to keep the good things. And all of the negative things, the struggles, the limited thinking, the lack consciousness, all of these sorts of things, the enemy patterning, the prejudice, all of that, all the separation. So when we see separation, we're seeing yourself separated from source, separated from yourself, separated from all living things. All of that, we don't want to carry those types of traits. We want to make our ancestors proud. And believe me, on the other side, as a psychic medium who does this work all the time, they are always looking out for our best interests, and they do want us to do better than they have. They want that. They really do. They're rooting for us. They say it all the time when I bring loved ones through. So remember, it comes from not only your own soul's history, all of these different traumas, but they also come from ancestors. So there's a lot of projecting that comes through. There's a lot of programs, ways of thinking that are limited, right? And that creates limited experiences. It limits us. It limits our light. I also want you to understand, too, that a lot of us are picking up on the world's karma. So it's not even just the other lifetimes where we've lived, the dimensions, even the planetary systems where there's been abuse of power, corrupted systems, judgment, violence. It's also from a lot of it from where we're picking it up from the world, the collective energy, especially for those of you who are empathic. You're picking up on a lot of stuff, and we want to clear that all out. Out of all layers, levels, dimensions of us, all timelines, lifetimes, clearing out all lower imprints, all the cellular imprints, all time and space, of just cleansing all of this disempowerment out. And where it's created, these stories, these programs, these beliefs, these false identities, these masks, these habits, these behaviors that are not really us. They're a product of ego and illusion. We want to cleanse all of that out too. And we want to become our true selves with confidence, feeling safe. And it's important, and it's very freeing. There's so much of freedom that is involved with the twin flame ascension journey, becoming free. Childhood wounds, this is something that is going to be coming up also more in depth, and how the childhood wounds, even young adolescent wounds, how this is all connected to what we are talking about, ancestral history and our soul's history of disempowerment. Okay, so that's worth, that's value, that's fear of judgment and rejection, betrayal, us versus them, enemy patterning, that's the conflicts, the inner conflicts, because outer conflicts were experienced. This is all about balancing karma, ending karmic cycles. And this is how Mercury retrograde really helps us to go back and go way in and be able to clean up and end out these cycles, so that way we can move forward into our souls, create more growth for ourselves, soul's evolution. So if you have had disempowering events as a child, perhaps you felt isolated and abandoned, perhaps you didn't feel like you were validated enough, perhaps you were bullied, perhaps you just felt so different, you felt like you needed to prove yourself later on, perhaps you just felt like you were never good enough, perhaps you took the reins and you were like, okay, well now I'm going to be the one who's going to be the aggressor and in control, right? You can go in two different directions. We have some people who are disempowered, who just kind of are a hermit and never really get themselves out there or do what they want to do or create things that they want to create. There's always a reason why they shouldn't or they couldn't. And then we have other ones that go out and they need to prove themselves. They need to be more of the aggressor, or more of the narcissistic behavioral traits show up. You know, too much control, too much force, too much work, right? So it can go in either directions. The behaviors, the patterns can vary. And for those of you who resonate with being twin flames, think about this. So if things haven't been working out with your twin flame, if they've ghosted you, if they have had narcissistic behavior, and yes, twin flames can be narcissists, that does not mean that you need to take the abuse and open yourself up to toxicity. Quite the contrary. This is about you being able to align with your power, set powerful boundaries, heal yourself, really focus on you. But narcissistic traits can show up. Absolutely. Lots of different darker shadows can show up. But I have to tell you, I'm really getting that there is so much now of the darker shadows that are coming to the surface. And so in your twin flame situation, if you can't see it happening, if things are being shown to you in the 3D world where you're like, wow, I don't think this could ever happen. I could never be with a person like this, and all of these different things. The message really is not to doubt the connection, but to know that there is still more work to do, that there's still more healing work to do for both sides, not just one and not the other, for both. And it's getting underneath the things that we're talking about, because those are the things that create those behaviors and patterns in the first place. Those are the roots of it. Major tower moments, if they're happening for you, do not panic, do not worry. These things are taken out of your life for a reason. People are being taken out of your life for a reason. Things are coming up to the surface, are being exposed for a reason, and it's for your betterment. It's so that way you can be your best version, you can create better changes, you can be authentic, and you could be in alignment with your true purpose, what you're truly here to do. This is what I'm getting for the month of May. I really am. And as far as, I just want to end with this, what you could do, a couple of suggestions that I would give, go-to tools. Number one, the Violet Flame. Invoking the Violet Flame of Saint Germain, Lady Portia. Invoking that transmutative power, that transmutating, I never know if I say that word right. Transmuting, we'll say, power. It's wonderful. It's so powerful. The Holy Spirit in action, the violet fire burns away all of what we're talking about. And it does it very broadly, multidimensionally. And it's the greatest divine alchemy you could use from turning negative into positive. You can also work with it with golden light. You can work with it with diamond white fire as well. Violet Flame is fantastic for transformational work. I also really like the Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. You can imagine a person in front of you and you're exchanging that, and it really is dissolving conflict, healing conflict. I also really like the medicine Buddha chants, Buddha medicine chants. And those are all about ending great pain and great suffering. And again, it does it very broadly. And the chant is Tia Te Om Benaze. Make sure I'm saying it right. It's weird just thinking of it right off the bat. So Tia Te Om Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Sumangate Soha. I'm so used to doing it in meditation, but I didn't want to make sure that I didn't want to screw that up. But the medicine Buddha chant is really, really powerful. It helps with physical suffering, mental suffering, emotional suffering. So Violet Flame, that, Ho'oponopono. There's lots of different tools. There's even EFT and tapping. You can try one of those. You can, do a mixture of things, see what works for you. But really just even just simply just connecting with your emotions without resistance and connecting with what's coming up and bringing light and allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel. allowing that pain, it really does help to bring light to it, to do that. So take the time out, what you need. It's not a race, and know that this is a part of the process. It really is. So don't give up hope and don't doubt your twin flame, because you guys are going deeper into transforming, and that's what's going to bring everything into harmony. That's what's going to balance things. All right? So I'm with you on this. I hope this wasn't too long. I just wanted to give you guys definitely the rundown as to what I'm getting for May with going into the shadow. And I am really wishing you guys amazing transformations and changes. You can do this. And remember, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Brightest blessings, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye now.